Hello, in this video I will talk about trichomoniasis or canker in pigeons. I want you to learn how to work with canker and not fear it. So I'm going to offer some great tips on how you can build your bird's immune system, never have to treat for canker again, and explain how canker works and how you can make your pigeons almost bulletproof to canker, which I've done probably in the last 13, 14. One thing you must understand is you're not going to cure canker. The pigeons are going to always carry it. The secret is to build their immune system so they can become very resistant to canker, where you don't have to treat for canker. Now I will explain. Now canker is a flagellate. It's like a little organism. It has a tail. It's a protozoan. It's not a bacteria. There are some great products for canker. Many of them, which I'll discuss at the end of the video, are useless. There are some natural products that I use, but again, you have to think about canker. A little canker is a good thing. I actually welcome my pigeons when I get a pigeon or two with canker, because by having a bird with canker, which I will treat individually, it boosts the immune systems of the others. Now when I get a bird with canker, I actually like it, because unless your birds are exposed and exposed regularly, they're not going to build up their immune system. If you're constantly treating for canker, your birds are never going to build a resistance to canker. So try to think about this. A bird gets canker. You have one sick baby in the section. You treat it individually. I will treat it with a canker tablet, and I'll get into the best one later in the video. While it's getting better, it's passing these canker organisms, the flagellated, swimming little protozoa in the water, on the feed, anything it touches. If it builds another bird, it's passing it to the other pigeons. Now the other pigeons, which probably have stronger immune systems, are building resistance because they're getting exposure. So over time, by a little exposure, constant exposure, the birds get stronger and stronger. So that is why I welcome a little bit of canker. If I have a breeder with canker, I'll treat it individually. I'll leave it right in with the breeding pigeons. If I get a couple youngsters with canker, I'll treat them individually. I will not flock treat the group. That's the biggest mistake you can make. If you want to build resistance to canker, they need exposure to canker. Now, remember, you're not going to cure canker. The birds carry it. It's in them. So if you can build their immune system, you're going to gain so much over time. If you like my videos, please subscribe and put a comment down below. Let me know what you think and if you've had experiences similar to what I've had. Now with canker, which is trichomoniasis, it is an organism that you're going to constantly battle. We talked about that earlier. It's not something that you're going to cure. Now, stress is going to raise the canker levels. So a pigeon flies a race, it flies all day, it's exhausted. If you next day or later that day did a swab, put it under the microscope, wow, canker is going crazy. Well, the bird was stressed. You're breeding pigeons, it's getting into the summer. Maybe you're getting a little lax, not giving enough minerals. The birds have pumped multiple rounds of babies, it's hot. The stress goes up, the canker organisms go up, the parents pass the organism to the babies. A lot of times you'll see canker late in the season with your youngsters. You'll get more later in the season because of the stress. The breeders are starting to break down, and a lot of this stress can be attributed to the heat, breeding multiple rounds, and maybe the bird's getting a little nutrient deficient. Now the parents will actually pass immunity to the babies with the crop milk. Now, as they feed the milk to the babies, little bits of low level of canker, the protozoan gets passed to the babies, and the babies start building an immunity. Now when the parents start breaking down and getting extremely stressed, they pass a load of these organisms to the babies. Now the breeders may not show any symptoms because, they're immune, but the babies will show the symptoms. So you have to watch out for that. You don't want to stress the birds. Now, when a bird gets stressed, what relieves stress? Usually rest. So if you have a bird fly a race, the canker level is going to go up. 2 or 3 days later of rest, the canker level goes down. The bird's immune system beats the canker. So think about that. Stress raises canker, rest, proper nutrition, space, reduces of canker. Most expect to see the yellow, cheesy-like substance in the throat. It smells, it's really foul. That is pretty normal canker. But also the pigeons can be all ruffled up. They can have redness in the throat. They can have diarrhea. A lot of times I think they have the diarrhea because the irritation in the throat and in the crop from the canker causes them to drink more water. They're trying to relieve it. It's like us having a sore throat. We drink more and more water, which I think leads to diarrhea. In some cases, the canker will get so built up it can cut off the bird's airways, and it can kill the bird that way. Now for me, if a pigeon has canker and it looks perfectly healthy, you open the beak, there's a chunk of the cheesy, substance in the beak. I take it, maybe take a toothpick or a pen or something, scrape it right out. It has the consistency of cheese. You can scrape it out. I give the bird a yellow drop. We can talk about this a little later in the video. And that's it. I don't worry about it. If the bird looks good and healthy. If the bird looks sick, then you may want to treat it with another product, an actual antimicrobial protozoan product that will work for the canker. But if the bird looks good and has just a cheesy substance, pick it out, give him a yellow drop, let its immune system beat the canker. Don't give it any type of drug for canker. There's a lot of confusion with pigeon pox and canker. Pigeon pox looks identical in many cases to canker. You'll open the beak, there'll be a big yellow lump. The difference, pigeon pox is hard. You can take like a toothpick or a nail or something, and if you try to scrape it out, it's not gonna move, it's solid. So many new fanciers confuse pigeon pox with canker. But in this video, we're actually worried about canker. Now some of the other symptoms, the birds can they don't want to eat, they don't want to perform. I mean, they can get sick and die. That's high levels of canker. Usually you'll see that in very young pigeons, but it can affect older pigeons as well with bad immune systems. I should have mentioned some babies can get canker through their navel. Like when they get detached from the egg, the parents will be feeding them, and sometimes milk will drop down into the nest, or even contaminated grain that they're feeding the babies will drop in the nest, and then the protozoan, the flagellated canker organism, will enter through like the belly button. So you can see like a lump in the belly button, or actually get internally and affect the baby internally, which is a possibility also. Again, I don't worry so much about that. If a baby gets internal canker before it comes out of the nest, it's going to be useless. Or even if a baby comes out of the nest full of canker, they're not going to amount to anything. You want to look for pigeons with strong immune systems. But you got a pigeon here and there with canker, don't freak out. Don't grab the medication, treat the whole flock, treat individually. Now, there's some things you can do for canker naturally. When my pigeons fly a race, so say they race on Saturday, every Sunday and Monday, I put apple cider vinegar in the water at 1.5 ounces to the gallon. So for 2 days after every race, they have the apple cider vinegar, 1.5 ounces to the gallon for 2 days. Now some studies have shown that these acids have a positive, or I would say negative effect. Positive in our way of seeing it because it knocks canker out, but it negatively affects canker. So the apple cider vinegar has an effect. So they race, the canker levels come up, I give them the apple cider vinegar for 2 days, they rest. Usually my birds are always resting for at least 2 days after the race. Canker levels will drop. Does this work? I think so. Is it psychologically helping me? Possibly, but it's something I do. The other thing I do midweek is I give the pigeons 1 drop of the yellow drops. It's an antimicrobial. I'll put a link to the video below talking about yellow drops. Actually, I'll put it up here too so you can see it if you want to watch the yellow drops video. How that works, that's an antimicrobial. It actually helps clearing canker from the throat. It helps with respiratory. Another great product for canker. If you are going to treat a pigeon individually, the best product on the market, now the human grade, it's called Flagyl. Flagyl is the human grade name. Flagyl is metronidazole. It's a anti-flagellin, it's an anti-protozoal. Flagyl or metronidazole works better than any of the others. The Ridzols, the Spotrix, and some of those products, I just think canker's immune. If I treated a baby with the Ridzol and one with the metronidazole, the Flagyl, the Metro works so much better. So you can order that through the supply houses. I would keep the individual tablets on hand. If you do have a bird with canker, you want to treat it individually, that's the way to do it. And that's what I use. So the combination of the natural products, building up resistance, natural resistance, and keeping a few of the canker drugs on hand is all you need. The goal is to build natural immunity in the pigeons. And over time, the birds will keep getting stronger and stronger. So again, you got a pigeon or two with canker, welcome it. Say, this is great. It's boosting the immune system of the rest of them. I actually get excited, if you can believe it, when one of my breeders gets canker, a bird on the race team gets canker, because I know it's helping the rest of them get stronger. This is Frank McLaughlin, McLaughlin Lofts. Like and subscribe, and until the next time, thank you.